Welcome, everyone. This is our cards. How can I say it? This is our Cards and Coffee mini reading event for March 2024. My name is Colleen Lemma. If you don't know who I am an intuitive reader as well as a healer. I use Reiki and astrology and numerology and Akashic Records, and I teach lots and lots of classes and do guided meditations and other events. And I've been doing the Cards and Coffee, and most of the time I've been doing it with my co-host here, Kathi, for a really, really, really long time. I can't even remember how far back we were doing it. But definitely, what has it been like over a year and a half, Kathi?
For what we're doing right now, yeah, it's been
Okay.
our previous one's longer for sure.
Previous one was longer. So that's a little introduction about me. I'm going to let Kathi introduce herself, and then we're going to just spend a few minutes talking about energies on a collective level before we jump in and start doing some mini readings. So, Kathi?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Kathi Munson. I am a psychic and medium, Reiki Master teacher. I do past life. I can connect with Akashic Records. I do intuitive classes, a lot of classes, a lot of workshops, a lot of guided meditations. I am the owner of Voices of Enlightenment. So you will see that probably on Facebook. And the website is intuitivecat.com. So yeah, I do. We're very in sync, Colleen and I. Um,
Yes, we bounce off of each other quite well. And since Kathi gave you her website, mine is sacredsoulempowerment.com. It's the same as the meetup group title, sacredsoulempowerment.com. So I'm letting a couple more people into from the waiting room there. So as far as the energies on a collective level, we just this morning at 5 a.m. Eastern time had a new moon in Pisces. So what's interesting about this is that new moons are always about new beginnings. But Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So this is the last new moon in a cycle of astrological energy. So we have kind of this energy dynamic of endings and new beginnings sort of wrapped up all in one. And Pisces is a very spiritual sign, energetic sign. It deals with the unseen and the intangible. So when we think about new beginnings, we think, okay, well, I want to manifest this and I want to manifest that. But Pisces asks us to hold the vision first. So Pisces is great with that imagination and creative energy. So this is where we want to hold a vision, maybe do a vision board for this new moon in Pisces of what it is that you do want to create next, because this new moon that we're having this morning is about 9 days out from the spring equinox on March 19th, when the sun moves into Aries and is the true time of new beginnings and planting new seeds and the initiation of a new cycle. So this is a really exciting time for things to be taking place. And not only those two things happening, but I do want to mention that we are entering eclipse season before the end of March, meaning we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th, and then a new moon solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th. And again, that Aries eclipse, it's a new moon, so it's new beginnings. It's Aries, it's the first sign of the zodiac, and it's an eclipse. So it magnifies this idea of new beginnings happening for us. Of course, the previous eclipse, which is the lunar eclipse, again, it's about a shifting and a redirection and things kind of maybe ending or coming to completion. And that, of course, we're in the Libra and Aries axis, right? The solar eclipse is in Aries, but the lunar eclipse is in Libra, which brings in the idea of relationships, partnerships, balance, equality, compromise, this equal give and take within our associations with others, but also your relationship with yourself and also your relationship to your higher soul self and the divine, whether you want to call that universe or God or whatever you give that energy, whatever term you give it. So a lot of things are shaping up. I'm going to share just a couple of messages I got in my meditation before hopping on here. And Kathi and I, we like to usually keep things very lighthearted and uplifting, and I'm going to try my best to do that. But I do have to share the messages that were coming in was one of right now protecting our energy, because Pisces again deals with energy and it deals with lack of boundaries. And so not only, attaining better boundaries with the people that we're around in our everyday environment, but also the boundaries with the collective energy. So, it's a very ethereal energy, Pisces, and Pisces is very empathic and picking up on all of this energy from all around the globe and things that are happening, situations, circumstances, as well as those energies in our relationships. So they were definitely talking about doing some like clearing and protection work right now. They were talking about trying to be clear of what your intentions are and what your desires are, because there's, again, this lack of knowing what's mine and what's everybody else's. And so they were talking about like this entanglement of energies where we have to be a little careful or more aware of not following a path or a direction that maybe isn't our truth, and to really open up to, making, again, those energetic boundaries and really tuning in and saying, what do I want? What do I need? What do I want to create? Is this my desire or is this someone else's? And then they were actually showing me like a weeping heart. And, I asked what that was about. And what they gave me with that weeping heart, and in this deck, the Celtic Tarot, it's a deck I like to use for relationship questions. And we've got the King of Cups and we've got the Queen of Pentacles. So we were definitely dealing with, dynamics between people, the masculine and the feminine. And I felt like they were saying that the masculine is going through kind of this difficult time in shifting their energies. So I'm not talking about just men necessarily, because we all have a divine masculine and a divine feminine. But the divine masculine wants to be, this King of Cups in his heart, but yet having this difficulty in shifting his perspective and shifting what's going on in his mind. And then with the Queen of Pentacles, this is the divine feminine being strong, secure, grounded within, again, herself, what she wants, what she desires. And the message with that divine feminine was that, I'll show you this card, it's the Tower. So we're going through some major changes. We're going through like this portal of energy where there might be some shifting in the circumstances and situations in our lives in order to, again, align us with our divine truth and our kind of divine love. This queen here is very grounded in herself, which means she's grounded in her heart center as well, which means the expression that she's sharing with other people, even if there is some weeping heart energy and some relationship difficulties, she's able to express herself in a very kind of loving, grounded, and nurturing way. But here, to me, it's maybe suggesting that we've got some shifts and changes in some relationship dynamics. So that's what I got, Kathi. Do you want to share anything that you got?
Sure. Because I was nodding my head the whole time that you were talking.
I saw you nodding.
Similar, things come differently, but very similar to what you're saying. So I tend to pull cards as well when I was doing my meditation previous till now, and have been doing a lot of meditations about what's going on in the universe lately, because we are just, seeming to be, and it's funny because the very first card that came up is fragments, which is sort of this, these fragmented pieces of us sort of being out here and not so much soul connected, presently connected to ourselves, and just allowing ourselves to sort of go within a lot, to access a lot of some of what Colleen said about, finding your true self, finding your divine power, finding what feels right to you, what resonates with you, and then sort of then looking outside of yourself. Also, when I looked at the universe and asked questions about the universe in general, I also got that fragmented feeling that we are a little all over the place, and that something is going to come and something is going to happen, which I think we're all somewhat aware of. And I feel like the energy is really excelling and getting very strong as far as that happening relatively soon. But the interesting thing is, we could go into the fear of it if we wanted to, which I highly recommend not. But the more that you can pull yourself together and focus on your center, your groundedness, yourself, the more it's going to make sense when everything goes through, and you can take those that are around you, your family, your soul partners, your soul friends and family, and pull them together and help them to be one with all of you helping and loving and supporting each other. And that will help you with whatever is going to be happening in the universe, because you'll start from this very grounded, connected, interconnected, place of unity. And the interesting thing is that a lot of it is going to come to that unified state. It's almost like we have to stir the pot and raise that steam and raise that vibration in order for us to get to where we need to be. And so sometimes we're going to go through the storm in order to see the light and the rainbows and the beauty of what is out there. And so, a lot of so I have very positive cards as well. I have the Unity card, which I absolutely love this when you were talking about embracing the world. This is like such a perfect picture of that. And coming in unity, in order for us to come in unity, and that's why everything feels so fragmented right now, is we're not working in unity. We're not working, and the collective is not working together. And that's what we need to do, is sort of pull ourselves together. But it starts with us pulling us first, our internal self first, and making sure that we are in that place of unity, pulling our fragments together, the endings, the new beginnings, releasing what no longer serves us, getting rid of whatever is around us that we no longer need, and sort of going into that new energy and that new vibration of being able to get to a new place. And it's interesting because I also got the courage card, which I thought was interesting, like having a lot of courage, to sort of go strong and forward and say, this is who I am. I'm going to stand in this. I'm no longer going to hide this. This is who I am. I'm going to speak my truth and get myself out there in a very positive, united way with myself. And then you're going to see the collective around you, sort of like that kindred partnerships around you, which is kind of interesting, sort of coming together and uniting with you and all being one to be able to go on. And the end result, if you'd like to do the whole reading part, is happy success. Like, we're going to get there. It's just going to take us a bit to go through that process. So hang in there. That's what Colleen and I are for, is to help the collective to be able to maneuver through whatever you need to maneuver through. If you feel you need our help, we are here for you. So with that, I'm just going to end it because we've got a lot to do today.
Well, I love how spirit works, because you mentioned, let me just kind of give a couple more messages here, because I did pull these cards too, and it just kind of, I blanked out on showing them, but it was perfect to let you talk about what was coming through for you first, Kathi, because you mentioned something about moving through the storm. And then you said something about like taking steps forward and being confident and courageous. And my last two and very positive card messages was the perfect storm. And it was, the courage to step into life, and very much like the Tower card, right?
Yes.
The perfect storm. So there's things that are stirring, things that are happening, things that are redirecting, things that are changing, but we have to be confident and have that courage to step into our truth and into that next step on our path. And I decided to pull a clarification card for more information from the same deck. And it was the farther gate and a bold step forward. So just reiterating what Kathi said, it's time for, and we're very close to, again, with that spring equinox and the sun moving into Aries. Last night, Mercury, the planet of messages and information, moved into Aries already. And it's going to go retrograde in Aries for the whole month of April, giving us lots of time to decide what our new steps are, what it is that we want to do, and where we want to go next, what we want to create. So Kathi and I are about to randomly choose some people. We just kind of go with our guidance with, raise your etheric or real hand. I do need to say, though, that this is being recorded, and I will upload this to my YouTube channel. So if there's anything really private or sensitive that you wouldn't want to be out there in the world on a collective level, just make sure that you're wording your questions or whatever, the way that you need to for that. All right. So, all right. Hands up if you want a reading. And Kathi and I'm going to let Kathi choose first.
Gonna let me choose first.
Yeah, I'm going to let you choose first.
I'm not prepared for them.
Oh.
No, because nobody usually go through first. So I'm like, oh, let's see.
Oh, do I? I don't even remember.
Be courageous. Come on.
Oh, no. I'm courageous, girlfriend. Trust me. That's
She
why
is.
that's why I'm here. So I see you, but Jasmine is where I'm going. We don't see her, but I see her hand. So I'm just gonna.
All right. So Jasmine, Kathi and I, we tap in a little bit differently. I like to get a date of birth so I can kind of tune into the vibration of the cycle you're in and your life path number and whatnot. So if you can unmute yourself and give me your date of birth.
Mhm.
Or I can unmute you if I can find you. Let's see.
Hi. So
Oh.
I put it in the chat, but it's March 9th. Yesterday was my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, March 9th in the year, please.
74.
And do you have a specific question or just do you want to see what your angels and guides have to say?
I'd first like to see what my angels and guides have to say because yeah, a lot is going. So
Okay.
yeah.
And I let Kathi go first.
Yeah, so it was funny. I don't know if you saw me chuckling a little bit, but I was shuffling cards and cards were just falling out. And the very first card that fell out was New Beginnings, which is interesting that we're in the new moon and that new beginnings. And I feel a lot. And then of course, that was nodding my head when you said there's a lot going on, because that's what I'm getting about you. Jasmine, I get a lot of like endings and new beginnings, like almost like it's at the point to where I want to guide you to sort of end some of the things that you've sort of been continuing to pull with you. And I feel like it's getting very heavy because your energy feels very heavy to me.
Right.
And I know that it's a process, it's like we can tell you to end something, and it's a process. It takes us time to be able to sort of get our head around it, to get into that right frame of mind. There's a lot that's going to come to you though. It's almost like I want to dust off like around you. Like I want to just alleviate everything that's around you so that we can create space for these beautiful things that are waiting to just come in for you. Now, it being your year, your birthday year, this is the year of truly like creating those new beginnings and listening to that, the information that's coming for you that really needs to help, that's coming forward to help and guide you. Sometimes it doesn't feel so wonderful, especially when we have to release things or people or places or things. And I feel like you've got a little bit of everything in there. There is definitely something about love that's coming for you. Like if you have a relationship, there's something about like if you're in a relationship, there's something about being stagnant in that relationship and sort of knowing that it's time to sort of move on. And of course, trying to figure that out. So I'll just say that. But I also feel like there's love that's here for you. Like it's in your aura, like it's around you, it's close to you. And so there's sort of like at the ending of the old so that you can, focus on the new. There's also something about a move for you, and just not like just the movement in life, but it's sort of gaining that clarity. It's almost like you've kept yourself so bogged down with all this energy that it feels very much like you're not able to see the forest from the trees, if that makes sense. And really, and here's sort of a side, like, blessing is what I call it, but sometimes doesn't feel like that. Your intuitiveness is getting so profoundly strong, like the gift that you have within yourself, because I do get that you're an empath, I get that you're a healer. So I feel like those gifts are starting to amp to a place to where you no longer can ignore them, and that you really need for yourself. And again, do a business like Colleen and I, that's totally up to you, but you need to pay attention to it. Like learn how and where you feel comfortable with that. Because I also feel like there's something about it's funny, it's almost like where your focus is. When I even talk about that, I feel like you need to expand that focus, because you're pinpointing yourself here, and I almost feel like you're restricting yourself too much to where your focus needs to be grander. And I know this from spirit, our focus is like here, and when spirit has ideas for us, it's always vast and ever evolving and absolutely huge. But there's something about like the connectedness of all of that, like sort of pulling pieces that you have let go or that you've not done. And I know there's this clarity of like calming your energy down, like almost like a meditation. And I feel like you used to have moments where you would just be peaceful, quiet, and just focus or meditate at some point. And spirit's telling me to like sort of call you back to breathe, to calm down, to focus. There's a lot that's going to be happening around you. And I want to guide you to just like, this is one of my favorite songs. So I'm a song person. I will just say that. And when I get sort of in this feeling, I'm always like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, Jesus, take the wheel. And I'm not even a country girl, so I'll just say that. But it's sort of like, I just want you to let go of the reins. Like, just let go and ride the wave, and allow yourself to sort of be guided and go where you're meant to go, instead of holding so strongly onto things that are no longer serving you. So that's my suggestion. That's kind of what's coming for me. I'm going to pass that to Colleen.
Okay, so I was listening to what my angels and guides were saying, but I was also trying to listen to Kathi, and there was like little nuggets that I was pulling out and thinking, yep. So you come in, Jasmine, with this beautiful, of course you're a Pisces, right? And your birthday was yesterday, and it's the new moon. And so there is like new beginning energies here for you. It's that soft spiritual energy. And they were showing me that you come in with this very kind of like divine motherer, nurturer energy. This is like Christ consciousness energy with an open heart and this kind of love. And they were also showing, though, that you are full of so much love and caring and nurturing and service to other people, that sometimes there's a lack of good boundaries sometimes with certain people or relationships. It's like you give and give and give, and maybe it's out of balance a little bit with being able to receive back the blessings that you're kind of giving out to other people. And they were talking about this being a time. Well, first of all, they want me to talk about the last couple of year cycle, because you have been in kind of these endings and new beginnings since 2022. So 2022, I feel like there's completion and healing, releasing, letting go, a lot of inner, energetic change going on. And then 2023 was like this new cycle of beginning and birthing something new, but you were like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what direction to go. It's like, it's like birthing a child. You don't really know what's going to come out right away unless you know ahead of time. But it's like, you don't know how long it's going to take, that birthing process. You don't know what's going to happen at the end of it all. And so that last year was sort of like floundering a little bit with these new beginnings. And now you're going into this year where it's about sustaining balance and making sure that there's this sense of equality and compromise and equal give and take within your relationships. So I heard Kathi say something about relationship, and I don't remember if she said something new's coming in or something needs to shift, but this is about if you're already in a relationship, something's out of balance, and we need to look at where do I need to rebalance the scales a little bit here? Where do I need to maybe receive a little bit more or ask for a little bit more assistance or help or love or attention or whatever it might be. So we're needing to kind of, again, balance that out. If you're not in a relationship, this could definitely be a time where new relationships come in, not necessarily just romantic, but also friendship, new people that you consider maybe your family or your tribe that might come in. And it's again, making sure that there's an equality there between you. Your angels and guides were talking about messages, listening to divine messages. They kept showing me this idea of magic and magical energies. And you are a Pisces. And I just feel like if you tune in and you envision and visualize what it is you desire to create or have or feel in your life, I feel like you're going to be really good at like manifesting that. The trick is for you, well, it is for everybody, is to trust and have faith and surrender to the divine timing of it all, surrender to it unfolding. But they were definitely showing this kind of magical energies and tuning into that magic within yourself and listening to the intuitive divine messages you're getting. Archangel Raphael came in to heal heart chakra wounds and whatnot, heal relationship dynamics or just something emotional within yourself. And again, with that great mother energy that you come in with, they were talking about the power of love to create what it is that you desire. So if you're coming from the heart and you're coming from your heart chakra, which I feel like you have and you probably always have, I feel like that's where you have to trust and have faith that it's going to create the magic that you want. They did say it was time to move out of stagnation. So again, you just had a cycle of new beginnings and you're now moving into a new cycle. So if anything's like old or stagnant or not working or not in alignment with you anymore, and it could be even belief systems, perceptions, perspectives, change things up, move out of that stagnation, do something to initiate something new and different, to create something new and different in your life. And they were talking about the power of connecting with other people of like mind right now. The power of community is also very important for you at this time. So I think that's all the messages I got. They did show me the moon card here for you, Jasmine. So this is, tuning into your subconscious, your unconscious, your intuition, your psychic impressions, your priestess energies, really tuning into, again, that magic energy within you. But this can also be about clearing out old subconscious belief systems and, energies that create certain patterns in our life that may be a little challenging. So there's also like this clearing on a subconscious level that's taking place. You might want to get around water. You are a water sign. It shows water in this moon card here. We also have water in this card. So water is going to be really helpful for you to kind of balance out your energies, especially your emotional body. So I hope that was helpful.
Yes, very much. And I think everything you both said really hit the spot, and that's exactly where I am.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so who needs a reading? We've got some hands up here. I'm gonna go to the only man that's in here, John. So John, can you give me your date of birth, John?
Good morning. It's June 6, 1959.
June 6, 1959. Do you have a specific question or just in general see what spirit has to say?
Actually, I do have a question. I've been trying to deal with through my intuition. I'm hitting a complete blank. But several months ago, while meditating, I had just a crystal clear vision of a yellow rose, a vision that I've never had before. I'm not sure where it came from, and I'm kind of searching to find out what does it represent, and was there this particular ascended being or guide that sent it to me?
Okay. Well, Kathi, you're up, dear.
So the very first thing when you said a yellow rose, I'm like, oh, sunshine. Like that was just, these random thoughts that come in my head, which are not mine. So I'll just say that right up front. I was thinking, joy and happiness. And I definitely was getting a spirit guide connected to that rose, and that they were trying to show you, because what they're telling me is that you are trying so diligently hard. Like most of us, when we, start to get that little tiny nugget, we're like, oh, I want more. I want more. It's almost like it becomes an addiction for us because we just get so excited. And so what I was getting is to sort of like calm down, like just calm down your energy. Like just calm down and become at peace. And I know you are working on that. I know that you're better now than I say back when you first were connecting with us. But they're trying to give you like little pieces, and it's not just, meditating and coming into that. Like I feel like signs are sort of coming from everywhere. And sometimes it just takes us a while to sort of realize like, oh, that bird, that was interesting. That connection to that bird was interesting, and just sort of like taking it in, but not expecting things to happen and not expecting a certain way specifically of things to happen. Your evolution is going to be and is very profound. Like your path for sure, as is everybody. So I'm just going to say that. But, the more that you allow yourself to get into that peaceful state and that peaceful mind and just really becoming aware of like everything outside of yourself, because I feel like it's some thoughts that are coming in your mind that aren't yours. And then, they're showing me like sort of visual things coming into your vision. So I tend to, as some of you that are on here know, because some people that are on here know me well, I'm looking out the windows because I'm at my home. I'm looking out the windows at the forest, and sometimes the way the trees move, sometimes a bird will fly across the window, and I pay attention to those things because I've known that we all work together, that everything works together, and that the more you can open your awareness, and you know, like I tell my students, it's like, if you see a bird and you think it's for you and you're like, okay, I'm just like, I feel like I'm taking this too far. You know, what is the worst thing that could really happen here? As long as you're not taking in and every bird that comes in your view, you know what I mean? You don't get overwhelmed by it or over addicted to it in some ways. But you know, it's like allowing those small things. It could be a bumper sticker on the back of somebody's car. It could be music when you get in your car that's playing. You know, just those lyrics that just come. It could be the birds that fly in. It could be spirit just placing thoughts in your mind. Like, I'm going to go this way today on the way home instead of going this way. And then you just have like a grand experience. Or you find out there was an accident on the other side. I mean, all these stories we know, we've heard somewhere in life. But it's allowing yourself, you are like, I'm going to go back to what they're telling me. You're hyper focusing in one direction, like one area. Like, I've got to meditate, and trust me, was there when I started on the path. Like, everybody kept telling me to meditate for an hour. Meditating for an hour is not my thing. It's not. Can I meditate? Yes. Can I meditate for an hour? Yes, sometimes, but there was like, you know, every day. It's not my thing. Like, I'm so connected that I love like getting visions, quiet times. Sometimes I just sit and breathe, you know, and I don't know if that's a real vision behind you, but I'm thinking I would just sit there and look at that all as the day is long, because I've been distracted by what's behind you. That vision, because I'm an ocean girl as the day is I'm a water girl. And looking at that is just making me so happy today. So I just have to say that. But again, that's just another way that gets you into that peaceful. You know, I get into my car and my spirit guides start talking because I travel a lot. You know, so it's almost like that's become a meditation space for me. Sometimes I'll get to where I'm going and have no clue how I got there. You know, so it's sort of like just being aware, being open and paying attention to all that's going on around you. And then there's something about you wanting to take a class with somebody or learn from somebody and sort of doubting, you know, is this the right avenue for me? And if it's not something that's in your awareness today, it's definitely going to be in your awareness within the next couple of days. So they're telling me to tell you to take that leap of faith, you know, to sign up with the person, whatever that may be, and do that class, because it's going to help you. It's going to help you to start to evolve that path and that pattern.
But yeah, at the time I did in fact was just beginning the spiritual path through the Ascended Masters, the Chohans of the Seven Rays. And it was about, I guess it was close to about a month after I started that path, which I'm still on, it was when I received that vision.
Nice. That makes sense then.
Yes.
It absolutely makes sense. Yeah. So, and I do feel like more messages are going to come. I do feel like there's a time, like almost like the door is like open a crack, but I feel like the door is going to be open much wider. So I don't know if you want to excel more into that type of learning, because that's a great path for you. They keep showing me like the stars, like at nighttime, the stars and the brilliance of the nighttime sky for you. And so what that means to me when my guides show me that is somebody who's evolved into that, like astrology. Astrology is not my forte. Clearly, you probably all have figured that out by now. I'm very intuitive. That's my path. That's my connection to spirit is my, what I would say is my gift for me, and being very aware of everything around me. You're focused on sort of that deeper, interconnective, like deeper information, the bigger. It's so funny. I always think of physicists. I don't know why. I would never be a physicist. I don't understand it. But that's what makes me think for you. That's your path. Is that more like the Book of Enoch, you know, the information from the Book of Enoch, the Thoth cards, you know, those really deep, profound teachings. That's who you are. That's who you are. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Colleen.
Okay, well, John, I was looking at your energy dynamic first, and they were showing me, it's interesting because you're a Gemini, right?
Yes.
So Geminis are usually very mental and, you know, speaking, teaching, writing, learning, absorbing information, but they were also showing this side to you that's very like connected to the emotional body. You know, there's a lot of emotional fluidity and love and nurturing and home and family and service to other people and all this wonderful emotional energy. So it's interesting energy you come in with. And I also want to say that you're going to be going into a birthday year cycle when your birthday comes up here. You also, just like Jasmine, the last 2 years have been like completion, endings, new beginnings, initiation, this new, new way of feeling, thinking, experiencing, observing life. But you're going to be going into a time also that deals with like balance and compromise and relationships and equality. And I don't know if you're in a relationship or if you're looking for a relationship or there's something going on in a relationship, and whether that's romantic, friend, family, or whatnot. You got a lot of messages here that talked about relationship dynamics. So I did ask, what did the yellow rose symbolize? And, the yellow, well, rose, I mean, rose is about love and connection. And the yellow to me is indicating like friendship, joy, happiness, shining our light, with each other and in this relationship. So it's like starting out in a friendship kind of level first. So again, I don't know if this is a friendship relationship or if this is attracting a new relationship that starts out as friends first, has that lighter, joyful, happy, sunshine kind of connection to it. When I asked about any beings or guides associated with it, the only one that came up here was Archangel Raguel. And I'm going to just show you the card. Archangel Raguel, he's holding these scales of justice. And so it made me feel like some karmic imbalance is now starting to balance out. And I feel like, again, it has to do with relationship dynamics. And they're saying to me right now, this could also be about your relationship to yourself, because you are a Gemini, and Geminis always have those two different sides to them, the two twins or whatnot. And it could be both. It could be about a relationship or relationships as well as the relationship to yourself. But there's a karmic rebalancing going on. This says at the bottom, justice, harmony, and solutions. So there's the Gemini piece. It's like solutions. What's the solution? What's the new information? What's the new idea? How can I follow up on whatever is going on here? How can I attain this sense of balance, justice, and harmony in myself and in my relationships? But the reason why I feel like so strongly that this vision has something to do with some sort of relationship. I mean, usually I don't necessarily show all these cards, but I just have to show you. It's like we got connections and partnership here. We've got sacred marriage here with Mary Magdalene. We've got Isis with sacred contracts. So we're talking about, contracts that you have with other people that you, before you incarnated, you chose to come in and learn something or be with them or, bring healing to each other in regards to something. We've got a woman holding a heart here. We've got caring connections here. We've got community connections here. So it's like all these relationships are coming in. Feminine, so female, feminine energy. And not only did we have the scales of justice with Archangel Raguel, but we also have the justice card with the scales of justice here as well. So, I mean, there was no denying there's something going on here with some sort of relationship dynamic. Again, sacred marriage, sacred contracts could be, with yourself and what you're learning, what you're evolving through, what you're supposed to understand. They talked about being sort of like at this crossroads regarding something and needing to make like a choice or a decision. Do I go this way or do I go that way? What am I doing next? And they also brought in that emotional energy that I first talked about in the beginning, this inner child energy, this playful, happy, like, be innocent like the child sort of energy. And again, Gemini to me is like this, what do I want to say? They're connected to the fairy realm, so it's like fun and happy and silly and again, information and knowledge and whatnot. But it's kind of a very lighthearted sort of fairy-like energy with Gemini. But then again, this energy of love, nurturing, caring for, family. And that can be, again, this inner child energy that's coming in that needs healing, some aspect of you to where maybe the scales need to be rebalanced. Did I receive as much as I gave out or vice versa? And we're needing to, again, tap into that inner child energy with whatever, and maybe all of this is about, again, the divine feminine within you. I don't know, but it certainly feels like there's something else going on as well in some sort of relationship dynamic that's going to be the focus of attention for the next, like, say, year and a half, especially starting after your birthday. That's coming into play. And I don't know if any of that made any sense, but that's definitely what I got. And they said too, is like, treat everything, treat what's going on in your life, treat what the next decision or the way forward is going to be. Treat it as if, like, you've never thought of it before, like fresh eyes, fresh perspective. Like, we're not here to repeat same patterns or go down a same path. We're here to, like, initiate something new, think about it in a new way, perceive it in a new way. So it's like having that sort of fresh perspective. And with that fresh perspective, sending out, especially because it's a new moon today, your intentions of what it is that you want to create. And remember, Pisces is not action oriented. That'll be more like the new moon in Aries, or when we have the spring equinox, where we can take some sort of physical action to start the ball rolling towards our new intention. But for right now, with the new moon in Pisces, let's visualize and imagine what that new intention is and see it in full vivid color and detail, and, you know, and really kind of put that intention out to the universe. So that's what I got. I hope that helped.
Yes, Colleen, thank you very much. It was a particular of interest, your beginning statements about Geminis and being focused on basically physics, engineering, data things. That was my professional life.
Okay.
But I decided that materialism was pretty boring. So a few years, I just turned my back on it all and said, let me embrace spiritualism, see where it takes me.
Such a Gemini thing.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, Kathi, your turn to choose.
Let me unmute myself. I happen to notice whoever DD04545 is, because she showed herself
That's
for a
me.
brief moment
That's
and
me.
really
What's
drew
your
my
first name,
attention.
hon?
Pam. Sorry, it's Pam.
Pam?
I'm on my
All right.
work computer yet.
Okay, Pam, what's your date of birth?
June 19th, 1968.
June 19th, 1968. Do you have specific?
I know that. Sorry, I'm sorry, Colleen. Can you just show us your face?
Yes,
Only
sorry.
'cause I know you did before.
I had computer difficulties this morning. I apologize for being late. I lost power.
That's all right.
I don't know if you can see me.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Do you have a
Okay.
specific question, or just see what your angels and guides have to say?
Just whatever. I don't really have a particular question.
All right. All right. Go ahead, Kathi.
So I knew that was going to be my turn to pick, so I was already focusing on your energy, because I saw your face in a flash the last time, and was really drawn to the energy around you and to you. And it's interesting because I know that, when I say I know, it's spirit telling me, so that's what I mean by that. That it feels very chaotic energy around you, like things that you're going through, like it feels like a really tough time, because I'm just going to put it that way. And that it's time for you to sort of, so I'm going to tell you a few things that and I will explain, because it's going to start almost like a little bit of a negativity. So I'm just going to say that real quick. But a lot of like victim mentality, conflict, stuck energy, like those were phrases that kept coming through. And of course, you know, I'm like, okay, I got it. Like, can we go to the positive now? Like, I'm always like, okay, I got it. And sort of, you know, knowing that you're working on that and you're trying to weed through some things, like almost like a suitcase that's really fully packed. Like they showed me you sort of like taking out like one piece at a time, like the smaller pieces, because it's easier for you to like look at, handle, and deal with, like we mostly do when we all have to go through things. And then it's talking about like this connectedness within yourself, like sort of almost like in a denial of who you truly are and who you truly want to be. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I'm looking for information, I'm just, you know, yeah. And then it's interesting because I mean, there was such vivid visions with this. I mean, yes, there are cards that came out, but there's such vivid visions that they're giving me for you about sort of like going back to your original. It's funny because I want to say Akashic Records, like going back to your book and sort of saying, okay, I know this about myself. I might not believe this about myself yet because I've not seen it in my life yet, but sort of trusting and having faith that you can evolve and move through that, and sort of allowing yourself to come on the path. And right now, what they're specifically saying, to where it feels right for you. And there's also something about, like, I don't know if you used to write, but I keep seeing you, like, they want you to write. Like you're,
I've always wanted to write, but no, I don't. I've never
but
written
they're talking
anything.
simple writing. They're talking like just, it can be anything that makes sense to you. Because that's what I always tell people when it comes to writing, especially if you're not used to writing. It's just simple things, like maybe you start a gratitude journal, or maybe you just put down, you know, just thoughts that are coming in your head, just random thoughts, like a book of random thoughts, you know, those kinds of things. You know,
I do
just
have a book
sort
of
like,
gratitude.
just it's like you need to get it out of your head so you can look at it, so you can visually see it, because you've known yourself to be this sort of intellectual thinking, like that's why you've always wanted to write. So I'll say that, but you're very visual. And I almost feel like you deny your vision sometimes, if that makes sense at all. Like you sort of deny it. And they want you to really start to embrace that. And so what they're saying is you start with what you feel is right for you in the moment, which is the writing piece. And again, it could be anything other than grocery lists. So I'll just say that. It has to be something more, you know, that pertains to you. And it's sort of like they show me sort of this evolution of starting to like weed through some things, like even the heart-based closed off places that you know you need to work on eventually, but you keep sort of ignoring it and pushing it aside. And you know, it's interesting because this picture means a lot, and I always don't look at the words on the pictures, but this means a lot. Like this is sort of your picture right now, you know, embracing that core of who you are and being okay with who you are. So whatever mistakes you may have made in the past, it's like, well, it's what's gotten me to where I am today. And it's what's going to help me grow stronger and be able to be stronger and where I'm going now. And sort of just embracing that and stop holding yourself a prisoner to that and allowing yourself to come in. It's funny. So I do past lives, and I had a past life workshop yesterday, and there was a lot of talk about being a witch. Like I was crucified in many lifetimes. So I'll just say that in my past lives. For my voice, for things that I stood forward for and believed in and shared. And that's a lot of what I want to tell you, is sort of embrace that, you know, embrace that. I mean, I can't deny who I am. I can watch my voice and make sure I say things appropriately. So I'll just say that. But again, it's like, it's allowing yourself to now evolve into who you are. Because I will tell you, here's sort of the little red flag warning. I know how spirit will move you where you need to go. And I highly recommend you start moving yourself, because they love us so deeply. I literally lost my job, lost my house, and my husband lost his job in order for me to move and get on this path because I didn't listen.
Well, I think I've already gone through that part. I hope.
Right. So it's like, you know, start listening, you know, start embracing. Because you're meant to go into a part of this realm. And I'm going to tell you right now, what you know how to do. There is so much more in that toolbox, honey. It's so much more. Like you've had many lifetimes where you've been an herbalist, you've been a healer, you've been a psychic, you've been a medium. You may have even done astrology at some point or something, like, because they keep showing me like the stars aligning and things like that. So again, it's allowing yourself to grow and evolve and move beyond what you already know in the moment. Go deeper, learn more, allow yourself to embrace who you are. Because that's a lot of what is in front of me right now, is embracing the true essence of you. And once you go there, here's sort of the interesting thing. So once you go there, which this is never a path that I thought I'd be on ever, you know, which I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say that. But once you're there, I have learned so much about myself on this path than I ever did in the many years I had therapy. So I highly recommend, and it forces you to look at yourself and evolve with what you're learning, where you're growing, where you're evolving, and where you're going. It's going to get that heartache out of you and be able to get you, because there's a piece that they're talking about that you've tried to look at, and you keep sort of hitting a roadblock every time you get there. It's going to help you evolve through that. It's sort of a little bit like what I said to John in some ways, is we get so hyper focused on how we think it has to work
Mhm.
And yours is just it's gonna flow. Like it's gonna flow to where you're like, oh my God, I totally get it now. Like I totally understand. Like now I can finally move through this because I just get it. So yeah. And there is some past life connectedness to this. There is some past life, like Colleen was saying, I believe at the beginning, if I remember correctly. I know she said it at some point today. Something about like not holding on so strongly to things that have happened to us in the past, whether it's this lifetime or in your past lives. And again, I've been crucified in many lives. Could that have stopped me from sharing my voice? It could have. But my career that I thought I was going to evolve and go, I was a singer. I sang professionally, did an album, did the tour, did the whole thing. And then the universe stopped hiring live entertainment back when the very first recession hit. So that ended that career. You know what I mean? So again, I always tell those that know me that when I used to sing, they're always like upset that I'm not singing. And I say I'm using my voice in a different way, in the way that it's meant to be in this lifetime. You know,
Well,
and I'm
I'm a
not saying
social
that there
worker.
weren't a lot of tears and depression and a lot of scary, dark places through that whole process. But we have to know that it embraces us and makes us stronger. And that's a lot of what I feel we need to tell you today. Is you are a master. You are a master.
Mm.
And there are times when you're not going to be able to deny that. That doesn't mean you go into the ego mind with that, but you're meant to do amazing, powerful things and help a lot of people. So if you get to that point to where you feel like you can't move and grow and evolve, think of the other people that you're here for. So that you can, that's what's going to move you forward, because that's your passion anyway.
Okay.
So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Colleen.
I
you.
agree so much with everything that Kathi was saying. I was getting some very similar information for you. You come in with this very powerful energy of what we like to call the master builder, the master manifester. But what's happened is you've had so many lifetimes, past lifetime karmic challenges that have weighed you down, weighed you down, weighed you down for various reasons, that you feel like, first of all, you feel heavy on this third dimensional earth plane. You feel like, you know, in some of your other lifetimes and some of the other dimensions that you've lived in, you know, things are lighter, or you were lighter, and, you know, you were more fresh and whatnot before all this, the karmic baggage started coming in and piling upon you. And this energy that you come in with in this lifetime, it's like there can be issues with self-identity, issues with maybe depression, maybe some issues with, definitely I feel like there's relationship karmic issues and financial or prosperity mindedness, you know, karmic issues. And you're here again as this powerful master builder to balance out all of this stuff that you've accumulated from other lifetimes. And you're here to go through a huge kind of a karmic cleansing and transformation in this lifetime, sort of like a snake shedding its skin, but you're shedding like many skins, you know? It's like this visualization of this lifetime is now shed and this lifetime is now shed. And it's like it, you know, it goes on until you feel lighter and lighter and lighter and more in touch with your truth and your power and your manifestation abilities, your creation abilities. They were showing past life as a, well, two different kind of things. I mean, one is more like a phrase that they gave me about some of your past lives. And the other one was more like, this was a past life where you were like a seer, a prophet, but it has this feeling of more like a witchy kind of person, you know, witchy, herbalist, pagan, something, you know, it's like you know, almost like stirring the pot of herbs and creating the potions and whatnot. And that might be metaphoric, but that's kind of what I see as this ancient wisdom and knowledge and psychic abilities that you utilize. And one of the strongest for you is claircognizance, where things just kind of come in as a download through your crown chakra, and you just know things sometimes and you don't know how you know them. But that's one of your strongest gifts. So definitely pay attention when you have those revelations or aha moments or those downloads, and some of it might come in dream time as well. You have also this karmic energy vibration that you're here to balance out, that deals with independence versus codependence versus interdependence. You know, it's like I am a strong very capable, powerful human being, and I can do it all myself. I can do it all myself. But then there's this other side that says, but you have all of these people and your friends and your tribe and those people that are soulmates on some level that have come into this lifetime to help you out. And so you have to learn how to ask for assistance when you need it and not to do it all the time, all by yourself. It's like this balance between self-sufficiency and community, and you're kind of learning kind of where's the balance in between. I am still a strong individual who can do many things for myself, by myself, but I also have all of these blessings and gifts with these people that are in my life that are there to help me, support me, guide me, assist me in some way, shape, or form. So that's another karmic lesson. They showed me Archangel Michael as being like a go-to for you. Like you really need to connect with Archangel Michael because he's going to help you pull cords to old situations, circumstances, lifetimes of energies that you no longer need. So helping you with these, depression or matters of insecurity, or whether it be financial or emotional kind of stability and security. They were showing family too, so I don't know if it's the family you grew up in where there's some karmic things going on, or if it's the family you have now where there's some karmic things going on and a maybe imbalance in the relationship dynamics. And then, not to get off track, but that other phrase they gave me as far as past lifetimes, they said she's both the destroyer and the creator. It's like she's had this powerful, and not always in a negative way. Sometimes it was like stopping people from doing something, but like that, that Kali, destroyer kind of energy, where it's that power and the lightning bolts and the sudden shifts and changes that you were able to do. But then you had this loving, nurturing, mothering creator side that gave birth, to new energies and new ideas and, whatever it was. So that was interesting. They gave me, I'm going to show you this card, the disowned self. Now, this is you through all those many lifetimes and all those karmic challenges where little pieces of your soul has split off from trauma and karmic stuff or being like for the witchy lifetimes and the powerful prophet kind of lifetimes where you were judged or you were victimized in some way, shape, or form, and little parts of yourself kind of just went away or hid, and you're not fully incorporating them. And so whether it's like through hypnotherapy, past life regression, shamanic journeying, Kathi and I both do the past life regression and stuff like that. I don't do shamanic journeying for somebody. I can do it on myself, but this is you, and you could do a shamanic journey on yourself, but you're needing to find those pieces and bring those pieces back in and kind of like, I don't know if Kathi said it for you, or if I have a memory of her saying it before, just for somebody else, but fragmentation. I mean, that's kind of what this disowned self is. It's like we have a lot of fragmented energies and we have to bring them back in and create kind of this integration process within ourselves to come back into wholeness, so to speak. They said something about telling your truth. So I feel like there's past lives again where you spoke the truth and you were like, again, victimized for it, burned alive, buried alive, whatever it might have been. And so sometimes it's like, I don't know if I really want to speak up. So there might be some throat chakra stuff here where I need to speak my truth, but I can do it, even if it's like in relationships where you're frustrated or there's a karmic challenge. We don't have to do it out of anger or frustration. We can do it with confidence and assertiveness, but we still need to speak our truth. We need to open that throat chakra, and whether that's speaking our truth with, again, connections that we're close to, or whether it's like a boss or something like that where you're afraid to speak up. No, we need to open that throat chakra. It's no longer those past lifetimes where you have to be nervous or afraid to do that. Then they were talking about, kind of on a different note, they were talking about finding what you resonate with, finding who you resonate with, and finding within yourself what you resonate with. And then prepare for changes and prepare for the redirections that you want to come in and that you want to manifest in your life. You're in a cycle right now. You're kind of at the tail end of your birthday cycle, but a cycle of change and redirection and kind of like topsy-turvy back, and like everything's just kind of a little chaotic since your last birthday. And I feel like it might have especially been difficult from June 2023 till the end of the year, just because of the vibration universally for the collective in 2023. Might have started to feel a little bit better as we moved into 2024, but you're still kind of in this change and redirection time period to bring in new people, new places, new opportunities. And pretty soon, as of your birthday, it's going to start to balance out a little bit. And you're going to be doing a lot more mental body clearing and healing and emotional body clearing and healing. Right now, it's like you're evolving, as we all are on the planet, but because of this evolution and light energy and light code streaming in and everything else, it's almost like your whole system, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies are all like, you know, and I don't know how to like balance yet. So it's like this period of chaos sort of within and externally as well, where we need to like, you know, come into a rebalancing. Besides Archangel Michael, they also want you to work with Archangel Raziel. So Archangel Raziel is kind of like the Merlin, the magician angel. Maybe you lived a Celtic lifetime where, you know, Merlin in that realm existed. But this is divine magic, alchemy, wisdom, inspiration, and Akashic Records. So he can help you tap into all of those things to be able to move forward in your life. And the last little side note seems unexciting at this point, but they said get some rest. Like you really need to have a little bit more
Don't
sleep,
sleep well.
downtime, or rest. So you're not, you know, you're not getting it. And you're all of your energy bodies need it in order to make that shift and that reintegration process that's needed. So I hope that was helpful.
It was. Thank you.
You are very welcome. So that kind of ends our Cards and Coffee event for today. You know, Kathi and I thank you so much for attending. I will tell you the next Cards and Coffee event, because we do this once a month. The next Cards and Coffee mini reading event is Sunday, April 14th. It's always at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And it will be on my meetup group. I'll also put it on my Facebook page as well, Kathi, I'm sure. And again, if you need Kathi or I for any kind of follow-up assistance, we both do, you know, intuitive readings and healing sessions and teach classes of various nature. And you can look us both up, again, intuitivecat.com and sacredsoulempowerment.com. So Kathi, you want to say any send-off?
Yeah,
Goodbyes?
thank you so much for being here today. I mean, I really feel blessed and honored to be here and be part of this. And thank you all for coming today.
Yes, thank you so much. Sending you all lots of love and light, and take some time during this new moon in Pisces energy to envision what you want to create next.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody. This will be uploaded on my YouTube channel, Colleen Lemma. It's under Colleen Lemma from my YouTube channel a little bit later if you want to watch and listen again. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Bye. Be well.
Bye.
Two.